All right, today we are going to take a closer look at one of the most famous health rules out there. We're going to find out what really keeps us hydrated, especially as we get older.
I mean, you've probably wondered about this one, right? This piece of advice is everywhere, health apps, magazines, you name it. But is there any real science behind it? Well, we're about to find out. The famous 8x8 rule. It's so simple, so easy to remember, and it's become this huge piece of health advice known all over the world. But you know what? A simple rule isn't always the right one.
So where did this whole idea even come from? The origin story is, well, it's pretty surprising. And it's a perfect example of how good, nuanced advice can kind of get lost in translation over the years.
Okay, so the trail leads all the way back to 1941. The U.S. Food and Nutrition Board suggested that adults needed about 2.5 liters of water every day. But over the decades, that guideline got simplified and repeated and simplified again until it became this super rigid rule we all know today. And in that process, a really, really important piece of the puzzle just vanished. And here it is. This is the key. The one detail that just got dropped along the way. The original report explicitly said that most of the water we need is already, get this, in the food we eat. Seriously. That one sentence, it changes everything. Okay, so if counting glasses isn't the answer, then what is? Let's dive into what the science actually says about what our bodies really need to stay hydrated.
Here's the thing, and it's so important. Hydration is not a one-size-fits-all deal. It's super personal. Your age, how active you are, the climate where you live, your overall health, all of these things play a huge role. I mean, think about it. A marathon runner in the desert is obviously going to need more water than someone working in a cool office, right?
The great news is that your body already has a built-in hydration meter. Seriously, for most healthy folks, thirst is a super reliable signal that it's time to drink up. And another incredibly simple tool, it's right there waiting for you every time you go to the bathroom. I'm talking about your urine color.
So you can basically think of this as your own personal hydration dashboard. If your urine is a pale yellow color, kind of like lemonade, you're generally in the sweet spot. If it's starting to look dark yellow or amber, that's your body telling you it's time for some fluids. And hey, if it's totally clear, like water, you might actually be drinking a little too much.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit, because this whole topic becomes even more critical as we get older. For seniors, staying hydrated isn't just some nice wellness tip, it is a serious, serious health concern.
And there are a few really key reasons for this increased risk. First off, as we age, the body's thirst signal just isn't as sharp. It gets blunted. So an older person might already be dehydrated before they even feel thirsty. Second, their bodies just naturally hold less water to begin with. And third, the kidneys can become a bit less efficient at conserving water.
This is why it's so vital to recognize the warning signs, because they can sometimes be mistaken for other things. We're talking about fatigue, dizziness, muscle cramps, and even confusion, or just feeling cranky. These can all be symptoms of dehydration. In fact, you might be surprised to learn that it's a really common cause of hospitalization for people over 65.
So how do we deal with this? Especially if drinking glass after glass of plain water just feels like a chore. Well, one of the absolute best strategies is to remember that forgotten sentence from 1941, and to eat your water.
I know, it's a pretty surprising number, right? But research shows that a whopping 20 to 30% of all the fluid we get each day comes not from drinks, but from the food on our plates. That is a huge opportunity to stay hydrated without forcing yourself to chug plain water all day.
And fruits are, of course, a delicious and obvious place to start. I mean, you've got the classics like watermelon and strawberries, but don't forget about peaches, cantaloupe, grapes, apples. They are all absolutely packed with water and good-for-you nutrients.
And here's a fun one that might actually surprise you. Cauliflower. Yeah, I know, you probably don't think of it as a juicy food, but believe it or not, it's 92% water. It's like this fantastic unsung hero of the hydration world.
And cauliflower is not alone, not by a long shot. Other veggies like cucumbers, celery, tomatoes, zucchini, bell peppers, and leafy greens are also amazing sources of fluid. Tossing these into salads, soups, or just munching on them as snacks is such an easy way to boost your hydration levels without even thinking about it.
Of course, what you drink does still matter. A lot. It's just about being smarter with your sips, not just blindly counting them. So, what does that actually look like day to day?
So water is always going to be your number one choice, right? But you can also think about things like milk, smoothies, even broth-based soups. Now, what about the big one? Coffee and tea. For years, we thought they were dehydrating. But here's the deal. While caffeine has a mild diuretic effect, studies show that in moderation, these drinks do contribute to your daily fluid intake and don't actually cause dehydration if you're used to drinking them. So you can definitely enjoy them, just, be mindful.
And this is such a fantastic piece of practical advice from the Cleveland Clinic. For folks who are in their 80s or 90s, trying to chug a whole glass of water can be really uncomfortable. It might cause bloating or lead to an urgent trip to the bathroom. A much better strategy? Just take small, consistent sips all throughout the day.
So when you boil it all down, it's really about finding a healthy balance. The goal isn't just to avoid being dehydrated. It's about finding that hydration sweet spot that's just right for your body.
And that's because, and believe it or not, this is a real thing. It is actually possible to drink too much water. It can lead to a dangerous condition called hyponatremia, which is when the sodium levels in your blood get dangerously diluted. So you see, both extremes, being dehydrated and being overhydrated, carry their own risks. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Just forget the rigid 8x8 rule. Ditch it. The most powerful and effective strategy is to just tune into your own body's signals. Listen to your thirst, check your urine color, and start thinking about your total fluid intake from both the food you eat and the things you drink. It really is a simple shift in how you think about it, but it can make all the difference in the world. So instead of focusing on some random number of glasses, start focusing on your body. It is, without a doubt, the most personalized hydration guide you will ever have.